Life is a winding road, no telling where it goes.
Hey guys, Amber here with the Meeple family, and today I'm going to be doing a countdown list all around my favorite 10 thematic games. So for the criteria on this list, I am looking for games that really immerse me in the theme. These are games I find to be really thematic. When I'm playing, I feel immersed in the theme. I think that's what I'm trying to say. So before we dive into this list, be sure to hit the subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up. That really helps us out. And you know what? It just makes me feel the love and I appreciate it. All right, let's get started. So my number 10 on this list is an old game from 2002 called Bang. So Bang is basically a card game and it's a role-playing game. This is probably one of the only role-playing games I still like to this day. So there's 4 different characters you can get in this role-playing game. There's the sheriff, the deputy, the outlaw, and the renegade. And they all have different objectives in order to win. As the game goes around, you're playing different cards and you're trying to kind of keep it hidden who you are, but it usually ends up coming out based on who you're targeting because that all ties back to your objective and what you need to do to win the game. For instance, the sheriff has to kill the outlaws and the renegade. The deputy has to protect the sheriff and kill the outlaws. The outlaw has to kill the sheriff. And the renegade just has to be the last person standing. Like, especially for the renegade, like you don't necessarily want people to know that you're the bad guys. So maybe you're kind of like buddying up with the sheriff for a little bit and you're trying to take out the outlaws, and then you're working with the outlaws and you're trying to take out the deputy. It's just fun, it's thematic, and honestly, it's just an old game that I absolutely love. A little bit of sentimental there, but definitely feel the theme. I feel like I am really taking on those characters when I play this game, and we just always have so much fun. All right, my number 9 is Stuffed Fables, and this is an amazing game put out by Plaid Hat Games. Our family has actually been playing this every Thursday night. We gather around the table and we play a couple scenarios of Stuffed Fables, and it is just so much fun. So in this game, you're playing different stuffed animals. You're losing stuffing, you're encouraging one another, and you're defeating these little creatures that are coming out from the little girl's bedroom who you belong to. And the theme, the narrations, it is just so immersive and so much fun. It's kind of like a kid's version of a dungeon crawler, but don't let that deter you. Even if you don't have kids, this is definitely a game you can still immerse yourself in, and it is so much fun. So my number 9 is Stuffed Fables. And we are on number 8. My number 8 thematic game that I absolutely love is a 2-player game, and it is called Watergate. So in Watergate, you're either going to play as the journalist side or the editor, or you're going to be playing as the Nixon administration. I definitely think after playing this, Nixon administration is my favorite to play. I think it's a lot easier than the journalist side because the journalist side, you're having to do so much more, I feel like, where the Nixon side, you're basically just trying to muddy the waters and make it as difficult as possible for the journalist, which I think is just a little bit easier. Anyway, the theme in this is probably one of my absolute favorites. I love the historical aspect. I love the feel I get. Either side I play, I can really feel that tug of war, especially on the journalist side. You know, you can't initially see the evidence tiles, and that feeling of like, wow, this must be what it's like when you're trying to investigate something and just constantly asking questions, trying to get information, and just the uphill battle it is to develop and show the story that you think is there. And you can also feel that same feeling on the Nixon administration of like, okay, we know some shady stuff's gone down and we are in panic mode trying to cover it up, and that is also the feel I get. So the theme here to me is just oozing, and not only that, but like the rule book is full of historical facts. It is such a fun game. If you guys haven't had a chance to try Watergate, I can't recommend it enough, and maybe I'm just nerding out because it's something I'm interested in, so that always helps when you're interested in the theme of the game. It just feels very immersive to me, and I think the way that the designers made this game to be like that tug of war, it really gives you an idea of what it's like on both sides, whether you're trying to be the journalist and come up with that story and make the connections, or, you know, the presidential administration who is desperately trying to take out your sources and block you from making those connections to the president. Such a great game. That is my number 8, Watergate. Well, this is obviously a very personal list to me, and these are themes that I love. And my number 7 is Mr. Cabbagehead's Garden. Yes, this may be a stretch for some, but when I sit down and play this game, I don't know, it's just something about the artwork. Like, I feel like I am in the countryside and I am growing my garden and I'm surrounded by all these nosy neighbors and I'm just desperately trying to score well at my garden club. And I don't know, I just immerse myself in the theme. I definitely love the artwork, and I think that's a huge selling point for me in the theme. I just want to escape to this fantasy land where vegetables have human characteristics and faces, and I am a man with a cabbage head. I don't know. I love this game. It is so much fun. This is technically a solo game, but they recently have turned it into a 2-player game. I've never played the 2-player variant. I've only ever played the solo, and I just love it. It's easy to learn. It's short, sweet, fun, and beautiful. And to me, the theme is really immersive. I feel like the mechanics of everything you're doing makes sense, and the game is just simply fun. I also really love card games, so that's probably why it's so high on my list. So yes, my number 7 is Mr. Cabbagehead's Garden, because anywhere that I can talk about this game, I need to. I mean, it's not every day that vegetables have faces, and I just love it. I love it so much. Okay, moving on to my number 6. Number 6 is Horrified American Monsters. I like cooperative games, and I just really enjoy this one, especially with my kids. My kids love cooperative games, and I think it's just because we're all on the same team, and that's such a nice feeling as a kid. And in Horrified American Monsters, you're basically, you randomly can pick out however many monsters you want to face, and you're trying to save villagers. I love the theme. It's kind of a retro, 50s, 60s time frame, and these monsters are terrorizing the town. People are popping up. You're trying to get them to safety, and you're trying to keep the monsters really from terrorizing the town. That's the bottom line. We have had the opportunity to play this with several age ranges, from our kids to youth and high schoolers, and then just a group of adults, and it's just fun. I just feel like the theme is fun. It's immersive. You really can feel the anxiety of trying to outrun the monsters and, make sure that you save the town, and all your heroes have these asymmetrical abilities, so you're kind of collaborating and working together to utilize those the best you can on each player's turn. Such a fun game. Horrified American Monsters, great theme. So my number 5 is Harry Potter's Hogwarts Battle. This game to me is very thematic and very immersive. This game also gets a lot of slack because they literally just took clips and screenshots from the movie and threw them on the cards, which I understand for some is kind of big eye roll, come on, can't you do something better? But for me, I have so many memories tied to those movies that when I play, seeing those scenes from the movies, to me, it feels immersive because that's something that I can relate my Harry Potter experience to. Besides reading the books, seeing those movies, seeing those actors and actresses' faces and their scenes, that to me is just so much of what Harry Potter and that journey of falling in love with that brand was all about. So for me, that's not necessarily a negative, and in fact, it makes it feel a little bit more immersive, I'm really taking on those characters and those faces that I'm so used to seeing on TV and in the movies. There's definitely some things about the actual gameplay that is not my favorite, but we're not talking about gameplay here. We're talking about theme. And this is one, I'm telling you, I can put the Spotify soundtrack on in the background, have some Harry Potter music going, and I am totally immersed. The last time we played this, we made butterbeer. It's so fun when you have a game that you can theme things around, right? You've got music going, there's movies, there's different foods that are iconic to that theme. So this is definitely one that has major oozing theme for me, and that is Harry Potter Hogwarts Battle. All right, number 4 is Bargain Quest. So I've recently acquired the solo little deck that comes with Bargain Quest, and I've been playing it a lot more. And in Bargain Quest, you play as shopkeepers of a town full of heroes, I guess, and you're not the hero, which I really ironically love. You're just selling the hero's equipment and gear and clothing to help them in the battle. If they do well in the battle, you do well. Like, you get reputation and people want to shop at your store more. If they do poorly in the battle, then obviously your reputation goes down, because who wants to buy from you because your heroes are dying and you're not equipping them well. So in Bargain Quest, I definitely feel that like immersion in the theme. I mean, the way that they have you setting things out in the display window, and then that's there and you can't use it, and then you're having to sell to certain heroes, and based on what you put in the display window is what lures in different heroes. Absolutely love this one. It is so much fun. I love the artwork. I love the theme so much, and it definitely feels immersive. Like, the theme is wanting you to feel like you are this shopkeeper selling equipment to heroes, and that is exactly what it feels like, and they do it so well. So my number 3 is Under Falling Skies. So this is a solo game where you're running like the ground forces because you are being attacked by aliens. Every turn you're gonna roll the dice, and you can place each die in a column. And that column not only benefits you, but it also brings on like a negative effect by moving down the alien ships in that column. I feel like the theme is so immersive here because you feel the pressure of making these decisions to protect your people in the city you're protecting from these aliens, but also every time you do that, it's kind of like one step forward, 2 steps back, because every time you find this great placement for your die on your city area, it's also bringing this catastrophic event where the aliens are moving down. So for instance, if I say like, oh, I'm going to put, a 5 or 6 dice here and I'm going to get this really great reward, it's also going to move the alien that's in that column down 5 or 6 closer to attack your city. So I feel like the way the game designers made this game, that push and pull of like, oh, I want to get this really great benefit, but at the same time, if I do, I am going to get, blasted by this alien ship in this column. So it is very thematic, very immersive, and I feel the pressure. I feel like the designers wanted me to feel like I was really being attacked by aliens, and I definitely feel that every time I sit down to play this. All right, my number 2 game is Obsession. Wow. I, of course, love Victorian themes, and I've talked about that in previous videos. Love Victorian themes. Love Pride and Prejudice, A&E version. Love, Sense and Sensibility, really anything Jane Austen wrote, I love. And then someone went out and created a board game called Obsession, and I love it. It is so, so good. This is such a beautiful game. It's so thematic, and it's so true to what those Victorian times would have been like. So in the game, you are basically playing as different households, and you're competing for the attentions of the Fairchilds. In order to win the Fairchilds over, you are trying to level up your prestige in the community, make sure you have a good reputation and a good name for yourself. You're trying to host wonderful events, and you're also juggling your servants, your income. You're trying to broaden the types of events you can host. And each season, you find out if you've won the affections of the Fairchilds for that season. This game is just so wonderful. My husband has played this with me a lot, and he is definitely not like a Victorian era Pride and Prejudice fan, but he loves the game. He's even said this is a really, really good game. So I know that even like I can take off my rose-colored glasses of just being so in love with the theme and know that at the end of the day, this game has great mechanics as well. So my number 2 is Obsession. And my last game, my number 1 thematic game is Kitchen Rush. So we acquired this game because my daughter absolutely loves cooking and anything to do with cooking. So we have quite the collection of like cooking themed games. And Kitchen Rush to me is just so immersive. I mean, if you want to know what it's like to work in a kitchen, but in a game board type of way, this is the game you need to get. After playing this, I feel like I have been in an episode of Hell's Kitchen, and like Gordon Ramsay's gonna walk in and just like lose his lid on me, because when my daughter and I have played this game, I just like, there's so much to do, and I get like paralyzed. I'm like, Okay, wait, we need more orders. Wait, we need to see these people. Okay, we need to go get spices. We're out of spices. I mean, you literally feel like you are working in Hell's Kitchen. That's how I feel. You have to be a good communicator in this game. Like, you have to talk. You have to, communicate what you're doing. The other thing I really like about this game is you can't really quarterback because there's so much you're focused on just trying to get done on your own turn that you can't worry about what the other players are doing. I absolutely love Kitchen Rush. I probably did not explain that very well, but to me, this is one of the most thematic games I've played. When I get done playing this, I literally feel like I worked a shift in a kitchen. You can feel just like the pressure of needing to fulfill orders. If you don't have things cooked right, it gets sent back. You are having to give out like free drinks to customers and you're losing money. There's so much you're juggling. This is such a fun game and so thematic. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed my top 10 list of thematic games. I would love to know what some of your thematic favorite themed games are that feel the most immersive. I shouldn't have said favorite theme because not all of these are like my favorite theme. These are just ones I feel that the designers did such a good job immersing you kind of in what they were going for, the feel of what they wanted you to get from the game, right? So I can look over my list and like look at each one of these and be like, yes, when I play Bang, I feel this way. When I play Stuffed Fables, this is definitely the feeling I get or take on from the game. So that is kind of what I was going for with this particular list. And I would love to know what games you're playing that kind of give you that same immersion in the theme. You can comment below. I would love to check those out. And thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you later.
Life is a winding road, no telling where it goes.